Remember in Genesis, earlier in Genesis, when Abraham went into Egypt and basically he was like, Sarai, they're going to think you're too beautiful and they're going to kill me, so tell them you're my sister, which was a half lie because sister wife thing. That was a thing in the Bible. That was a thing in the Bible. Well, anyway, they do it again in Genesis 20. And yeah, they do it again in Genesis 20. So what happens is Abraham moves on to the region of Negev and lives between Kadesh and Shur. For a while he stayed in Gerar, and there Abraham said of his wife, Sarah, she is my sister. Then Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But then God came to him in a dream one night and said to him, You are as good as dead because the woman you have taken, she is a married woman. So, yes, technically he's committing adultery. And she's committing adultery in the sense of the modern moral thing. But in the early biblical sense, the Israelites and Hebrews of that time, and really all the cultures of that time, would not have seen this as adultery from the woman's part or on Abraham's part. They would have seen this as a situation where the man was doing what he needed to do with his property. Because a woman who was your wife was considered your property at that time. I don't like it, but remember the past is a foreign country. And then God said, You did this with a clear conscience, so I have kept you from sinning against me. That is why I didn't let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, you may be sure that you and all who belong to you will die. So God's like, Fix this or die. And it's like, okay, that's kind of mean because he didn't know what he was doing. He was told that it was a sister. And like when you think somebody's a sister and you're like, I want to have like that happen, it's like, okay. Um yeah, it's okay. What's happening? What's happening? And it's like, no, please don't do that. Please don't do that. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help there. So you get the problem where everything becomes a mess. And then Abimelech summons all the officials, and they were very afraid, calls Abraham and said, What have you done to us? How have I wronged you? And you've done things that should never be done. What was your reason? And Abraham said, There is surely no fear of God in this place. So basically, he wants to convert them to being afraid of, not necessarily convert them to being Hebrews and rulers of the Israelite, or not rulers, but worshippers of God, but to essentially to make them fear God. And that's not great because when you think about it, you're like, oh no, what are you gonna do here? And yeah, and then Sisera said, I'm giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver to cover the offense against you before you are with and completely vindicated. Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and the female slaves so they could have children again. Essentially, God had basically God had closed all of the wombs of the Alachemites so that they could not have any more children, which is I mean. Like, I don't like that. I really don't like that, but I get it because, like, yeah, it's a thing that happened, and but that's just what happened there. And you got to think, like, oh no, what are we gonna do about that? And yeah, one of the things you got to do is just have the fear of God after that, because, like, oh, God made us essentially not be able to have children, and when you don't have the ability to have children, you have no way to increase, no way to improve the population, no way to make the population better, no way of anything to doing. So this is a really mean thing. And Abraham essentially, in my opinion, he coveted what they had, which was money and gold and slaves and things, and chose to make the decision that he did, so that he essentially could steal their stuff, like he did in Egypt. And like I understand it worked, but that doesn't mean I have to like it, which is really sad that that's what happened in the Bible. But you have to understand this is a story, and this story is actually condoning this behavior as a good thing, so not a great thing to see. But because it's doing that, the Israelites are like, oh, we can get things that are not ours. And it's like, yeah, but no, but what? Why are you doing that? And then they're like, well, Abraham did it, and then God gave us this land. There's a lot of things in the Bible that are like that that explain why things are the way they are. And when you realize that, you understand why Abraham did what he did. All right, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and you can follow me on Patreon for $1 a month. And Mariners recap videos will be published 12 to 14 hours before they'll be published on YouTube on there. You'll also have some access to things that I write, well, some blog posts. I might use it as a website, and you can book me on Cameo. You can follow me on Instagram, and well as Blue Sky at Sammy5436. Thank you for watching.